right? I actually beat Riven Remake last night. And let me tell you guys something. Like, I don't think Phil of today, 2024, versus Phil of 2008 when I started this, I don't think I could be more of a different person. The reason I say that is because last night I'm doing Riven Remake, right? And the final puzzle of the game requires you to crack a codex. You have to figure out basically a numerical code that includes not only regular numbers that we know, but a symbol system and a second symbol system. One symbol system is just based on like add this to this and it becomes this. But then there's another symbol system that's actually you have to count going around in a circle the amount of symbols that are there. And sometimes there's two, sometimes there's one, sometimes there's double. It's a really complex system. And I actually figured it out on the fly live on stream. The Phil of 16 years ago would have never done that. The Phil of 16 years ago would have sat here in rage and said, this is stupid. What a dumb game. Who the fuck would want to figure this out? How is this fun? Instead, I actually sat there and I applied myself to it. And on the fly, I talked it out publicly with the audience and figured it out. And I was like, wow, I actually impressed myself because that's the kind of stuff, that's the kind of thing that would be on an IQ test. Well, you know, here's a pattern, a series of symbols. What's the next symbol? So you have to, on the fly, figure out the symbol system, right? And then figure out what would be the next symbol in this sequence. And that stuff, I'm going to be honest, that's stuff that I wasn't good at. And I actually did it legit last night to beat Riven. And I was like, wow, I've impressed myself. It's kind of like right now, me playing Street Fighter in Street Fighter 6 is the best I feel I've played competitive Street Fighter. All right? And I want to repeat that. I actually feel like me playing Street Fighter 6 now, this is the best I've been at Street Fighter. You could argue, well, what about your days in Super Turbo back in the day? Well, yeah, I was playing at a high tournament level back then. But modern Street Fighter has more to it. Modern Street Fighter has a ridiculous amount of mechanics and muscle memory and things you need. You know, Super Turbo is very simple. Yes, I have an incredible amount of knowledge of Super Turbo, and I have great execution and timing from playing it so much, but it takes more to play Street Fighter 6 at a competitive level than it does Super Turbo. That's just a fact, okay? And so I feel like right now, in 42 years old, my brain is kind of at the best it's ever been. I'm solving complex codex puzzles live on a stream for the finale of a game. I'm playing Street Fighter at a high competitive level. I'm beating the toughest boss in FromSoft history legit without summoning. It's pretty nuts what I'm pulling off here in the modern day. It's wild. Of course, now nobody cares. And of course, that's a gross over exaggeration. And I don't want to downplay those of you who like me and watch my content and support it. Okay? I appreciate that. When I say nobody cares, sadly, it's just a feeling that I have. It's not resentment. It's more like sadness that back in the day when I was an asshole, when I was a fool, right? I wasn't good at games. I was just sitting there ranting, raving, swearing, saying controversial, dumb shit constantly, right? All that stuff. That's when I was at the height of my popularity. If only what I was doing today is what I was doing 12 years ago, you know, 2011, 2012, when I was getting insane views on YouTube, I think things could have been a lot different. Because what ended up happening was I got known as that clown who sucked at games, who didn't appreciate his audience, who didn't do the right stuff, and squandered all of that, right? Yeah, I mean, to some extent, I do look back and I have to agree with that. Now, the thing is, I have no aspirations to be some giant celebrity or to be rich or anything like that. I'm very happy with where I am. But, I mean, it stands to reason. Let's be honest. Take a look at where I am in Street Fighter. Take a look at where I am in Elden Ring. Take a look at what I just did in Riven last night. Can you name one other content creator who just did that in 2 days? Did all that shit, a variety of challenging content in 2 fucking days back to back? If someone else who was notable did it, it would be like the talk of the town. Oh my God, this guy's like one of the best gamers. Do you believe that he fucking got, you know, this crazy streak of high-end gameplay in Street Fighter 6? Then he beat Radon legit in Elden Ring. Then he fucking did this crazy codex thing in Riven. And it's all on stream live, so it's all legit. It's not like he faked it. You know, that's the kind of shit you hear someone faked it, right? You know? But because it's Dark Side Phil, Nobody cares. And again, it's not that nobody cares. That's a gross over-exaggeration. Because it's Darkside Phil who did it, it doesn't mean anything, right? It's a throwaway. It's throwaway. It's disposable. It means nothing at all, right? And that's sad, because again, 12 years ago, everyone would have been talking about it on YouTube. It would have been like, wow, this guy is crazy. Look at all this crazy stuff he's doing, right? Yes, hundreds of streamers have beaten Radon Crema Coco, and how many of them did it legit? How many of them did it legit without summoning or you know, broken build stuff, right? I'm not saying it's not a lot, probably still hundreds, but I'm one of them, right? I'm literally one of them that did it legit. That's an accomplishment in itself. And then how many of them were playing at master level and doing well in Street Fighter 6? And how many of them did a crazy... That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like back to back to back cool high-level stuff I've been doing in games recently. But no one will ever talk about it. Oh, it's not a big deal. All right. Well, fair enough. Right? Fair enough. Yes, you're saying Kai Sennett did it. That's right. Yeah, Kai Sennett. People said he did it in 99 hours. I did it in 5.5. And by the way, I had like 400 people on stream, half of which were all talking shit constantly. People screaming, just change your build, change your build, change your build. What the fuck? Shut up. No, I'm going to beat him like this. I'm learning. I'm getting better. Why are you screaming at me to change my build? It's not like, you know, Kai's on a stream. He probably has 40,000 people all cheering for him, right? Everyone's excited. Everyone's all pumped for it and shit. And for me, it's kind of like, I always feel like I'm fighting a battle, but it's just for myself. Because let's be honest, if I didn't beat Radon, who would have cared? No one. You know? But it's fine. I understand. I'm not who I used to be, that's for sure. It's just kind of like, you got to accept it. It's resignation. It's like, yeah, it is what it is. If this happened 12 years ago, things would have been very different. But it's just, you know, 12 years ago, I was an idiot. Right? I was a complete moron. And I acted like a fool. And I didn't take a look at industry changes coming. And I didn't want to listen to feedback to improve. And I didn't want to listen to what my fans were telling me. I did a bunch of stuff that was wrong if I wanted to grow or at least stay where I was. Right? And then I just had a big string of bad luck when it came to becoming kind of a negative meme on the internet. And it's all history now. You know what I mean? It's all history. So I'm kind of like, I've accepted all of it. You know, at 42, I'm happy where we are. I like the fact that we have a good time together no matter what I play. But it does, I mean, like to give you some perspective here. Even in the last 10 years, you know, when I was playing Bloodborne, when I was playing Dark Souls 2 and 3, when I was playing those games, it had a big fight feel. I guess that's the best way to describe it. It had those events had a big fight feel to them. Now I don't really get that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, nah. Like when I was fighting the epic bosses in those games, it was like, oh, everyone's gonna be on stream, everyone wants to see it. Then it's like, I beat him, it's no big deal. And that kind of sucks. I wish that there was a better feeling of hype and a better feeling of excitement behind this stuff, but I don't really get it anymore. I think it's because, number one, I've been doing this for 16 years, and number two, because let's be honest, I just don't get that level of positivity behind me anymore. I don't, you know, yes, there are people rooting for me, and I'm happy that I have the small positive fan base that I have, but it does kind of suck. If I had quit on Radon and said I'm not doing it, that would have been news. But because I beat him legit in 5.5 hours, that will never be news, right? So I think you understand where I'm coming from now, right? If I rage quit Street Fighter 6 and have a bad day, that's news. If I play the best stream I've ever done in Street Fighter 6, getting crazy wins, getting to over 1,600 ranking points, that's not news. Nobody cares. You see? Everyone just wants the toxic and the negative. No one cares about the positive. That is disheartening. I wish we could have more people who cared about the positive. I like that crowd. I want more of that crowd. And sadly, it's rare that we really get that these days, because we people who root against me rather than for me. And that's frustrating, you know? But I guess that's life, right? What's the saying? You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. So I used to be the hero everyone rooted for. And now I'm still around. I'm still resilient. I'm still making content. I'm literally doing more difficult accomplishments than I've ever done before. But now everyone just sees me as the guy to root against, right? So it just changes. It is what it is, I guess. People want me to be the heel. They want me to be the villain. I don't necessarily want to be the villain, but it seems like that's the role that life has given me. And so, you know, what do? I guess you roll with it. But the thing is, I'm not going to be, I'm definitely not going to be playing up that. I'm not going to be Mr. Drama. I'm not going to be some guy who becomes a heinous person on the internet saying awful things. And, you know, I'm not going to do that. I could. People told me to do that ages ago. And I was like, nah, I am who I am. I'm not going to become one of these people who's just a toxic jerk. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to stick to where I am. Again, I'm happy where I am. You know, it's just crazy to me because this really have been a couple intense days. Super intense day of Street Fighter, intense day of Elden Ring. And then at the same time, one of the craziest puzzles I've ever solved in a video game. Probably the hardest. Like, that codex was seriously tough to figure out. And then it's like, that, no one cares. No one's even saying a word about it. No one gives a shit. What are people talking about? That a pro wrestler, Mansoor, tagged me on Twitter. Woo! Wow. What an amazing accomplishment, right? Like, what? What? That's real news, huh? Is it really? I don't know. Whatever. Anyway. Oh, no, I know. And I'm not talking Mansoor. He's a great guy. He was actually very nice. He actually quoted a whole bunch of stuff. Like I said, he quoted the crouch jump from Black Mesa playthrough. He quoted the song "Do You Call My Name" by Raw from Raw, who was the song I used to use in my Hateful Truth reviews. So he's actually a legit fan, which is nice to know that I actually have legit fans out there who probably are the silent majority. People who are my fans don't speak up because they don't want to be harassed by the insane people who stalk me and everyone else around me who's positive. So I get that. I really do. You know. All right. Well, guys, that's that. I think we covered the topics. We talked about the schedule. We talked about politics, and we talked about everyone. Darkside Phil here. The only detractor channel that I watch is Doody Streams.